we'll give it a few more minutes because I just want to make sure that we don't we'll let the late stragglers come in. Very, very chill session today. We're going to talk about smart trader tools. I'm going to share a couple of really interesting strategies with you as well, and hopefully give you a really good background and foundation for making trading as easy as possible. It looks like yen does not want to stop. 1274. Look at that, Sam. It's not relentless selling. Last night, those of you guys who were in my chat room, you saw my chart that once 113 breaks, it's like a dam opening up, right? That support has been holding for the last, like here, let's take a look at the chart here. I think it's been holding for forever. Look at that. Might come back here. And we just took out this 113 support. Really ugly little candle. Quadruple top, going down. And yields are really bad too, because I guess the Nikkei just got decimated, right? So DAX is down. I mean, just all risk aversion is kind of finally down. Really interesting. Thank God we had that euro today. I'm going, just letting everybody know, I'm going like on an hour of sleep. So I just had I took a Tylenol for the first time in like 2 years. I usually never take any kind of drugs, but I had such a slamming headache. I had to take it. Now I feel so much better. Okay, Sam, is there any sort of preliminary questions, anything in your mind, anything you guys want to talk about? Feel free to post up. Literally, it doesn't matter. You can ask me about anything about the markets or anything else, because as I said, it's we got a couple of minutes before everybody comes in, so it's sort of a free-for-all.
Yeah, thank you, Boris. So far, so good. No questions, but yeah, feel free, guys.
Okay. All right, we're going to start in about 2 more minutes. It's it's 4:30 4:30 in the morning to me, so in about 4:33 or so we'll start. Okay.
Boris, we just have one question. How are you going with your sleep intervals? I guess
I was just telling Sam that I had like exactly 1 hour of sleep last night, just because I was, we were long euros, and it's people who've been trading with me in the room know it's been a miserable week for me. So I was so like, I was long euro trying to trade that 1800 break, and I mean, look at the let's look at a 5-minute chart. This is why I was so miserable. So we got I was long here, and just this is what was happening. It was just not moving, right? By the way, I'm going to talk about this. This is a very, very interesting, very interesting phenomena that I'm seeing in Asia that is really important for you guys in Australia to be aware of. So of course, like my sleep pattern was supposed to be from around, like, where is it, 9 o'clock in the here's 2100, 9 o'clock at night till about 2, and I couldn't get any sleep. I woke up like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and this thing is going 90.91, 99.91 for like forever. This is a 5-minute chart. You can see how annoying it was, and finally it started to break out. So now, I mean, I'd much rather go without sleep and have a winning trade than go with sleep and have a losing trade. So no pain, no gain. So I'm okay today. The topic is smart trader tools. We're going to be talking about all of the various Pepperstone MT4 tools from sort of the simplest to the most complex, to give you a good overview of some of the things that are available for you completely and totally free as a Pepperstone customer. Okay? Which is perfect. So let's begin. I think we're ready to roll. Let me go to full screen for the time being. And Sam, you can feel free to start anytime, to recording time.
Ready for you, Boris. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. This is Boris Schlossberg with BK Forex, and this is our monthly series of Pepperstone webinars. Today's topic is the Guide to Smart Trader Tools, how to trade smarter with MT4 Smart Trader Tools, which are available completely and totally for free to you from Pepperstone. And we're going to go through not all of them, but some of them, sort of from the simplest to the most complex ones that I chose that I thought could be the most useful to you in your day-to-day trading life. Feel free to ask me any questions as I'm going through them, as I describe them, and any other ideas that you have, feel free to just chime in. As always, before we start, past performance is not indicative of future results. Trading Forex carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors, and a high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. So before deciding to trade any such levered products, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite, and the possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with trading on margin and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. As a matter of fact, one of the most critical things of the Smart Trader tools is the ability to control and manage risk, which is absolutely the foundational aspect of course, trading on margin. And so, if for nothing else, this particular webinar and these particular tools, I think, could make your life immeasurably easier in terms of at least managing the risk to the best ability that you can. The information, including commentary and trade ideas provided on bkforex.com, should not be relied upon as a substitute for extensive independent research, which should be performed before making any investment decisions. BK Forex LLC are merely providing this information for your general information, and opinions presented here do not take into account any particular individual investment objectives, financial situation, and needs. This is absolutely critical. When people ask me specific questions about their own individual levels of risk, their own individual levels of trading, those things pertain strictly to you. My advice is absolutely 100% generic and general and does not apply to you specifically. You need to be very much aware of what is your personal risk appetite and your own personal financial status in order to be able to apply the rules. We're not responsible for any losses incurred on investments made by readers and clients as a result of this information, and we do not render investment advice, legal, accounting, tax, or professional advice. God knows, certainly don't do that. If an investment, legal, tax, or other assistance is required, the service of a competent professional should be sought. Thank you, guys. So let's trade smart. Let's see how we can basically take our day-to-day trading activities and help us automate them to make it faster, help us alert ourselves to make us smarter about the market conditions, and help us even manage and test market ideas as we go forward. There are basically 5 particular modules that I'm going to talk to you about today: Session Map, Alarm Manager, Mini Terminal, Trade Terminal, and then Trade Simulator. And I will say this right up front, and I'll probably repeat this a couple of times because it's a very, very important point. So when you look at this particular screen over here, this is, I'm on a Mac, obviously. You can see this is a Mac imprint on the bottom. But this is obviously a PC environment. And how is it that I'm in a PC environment? Well, I'm in a PC environment because I have a virtual private server. I basically have MT4 installed in the cloud. And so this runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week or 5 days a week, obviously, presumably uninterrupted. Of course, there is a possibility of server failure and stuff like that, but it's very rare. The point being that I'm trying to make is that all of these tools that I'm going to show you are only as good as the computer you use it on. Meaning that you can use it on your local computer, of course. There's absolutely no reason not to. But remember, anytime your computer goes to sleep, anytime you close your laptop, anytime you turn off your computer, you turn off all the functionality that's present in these scripts. So generally, it's always a really good idea, depending on, especially if you're running sort of longer-term strategies, to run everything in the cloud, where it's going to run for you 24 hours, 5 days a week. So it's a foundational concept that I think many new people completely miss, that all of this stuff is only as good as the computer you run it on. Now, the second thing that I kind of wanted to show you is that because I'm running on a VPS, and because I'm logging in, and because obviously there's stress on the system, I may have to you may have to be a little bit more patient with me as far as the speed of response and everything else in some of these things, and I may have to sometimes close and restart the MT4. That's just simply a function of the fact that I've logged into a VPS. It's not that these things are slow; they're actually quite fast. And when you do it yourself, you'll see how fast they are. But I just wanted to indulge your patience on both of these things. So these are the 5 things that we're going to talk about. And I'm going to start with the most basic, the simplest one, but I think it's kind of interesting and certainly worth examining. So just the absolute easiest little MT4 EA that we have here is something called, where's my thing? Session map, right? Right over here. So, by the way, of course, all of these tools come to you in a zip format, right? And you just simply click on them, and they will automatically install into your MT4. They will also ask you that when you go into tools, into options, they will ask you to over here, allow DLL imports, that this particular checkbox is checked. As a matter of fact, a very, very good thing to do before you even install all of these things is to go, let me just do this very slowly so that everybody who's new can follow me. You go into tools, right? Go into tools. Sort of step 1 before you even install all of these tools. Go into options, go into expert advisors, and click allow DLL imports, because these particular tool sets require the DLL to work. Don't worry, they're all trusted, they're all really well made. There's no danger to you. But if you don't check this off, none of the stuff will work. So it's just one of those, it's one of those tiny little things that people forget to tell you about that kind of drives the whole thing from the beginning. So once you do that, then you can install all that stuff. They all automatically populate inside your expert advisors tree, and then you have like all of these little expert advisors, and we're going to go through some of them to show you how they work. So sort of the simplest one right now, session map, I'm just going to drop this on here, and all you got to do is just simply drag it, say okay, don't worry about setting it up. And where's my session map? What happened to my session map? Yes, why is this not working? Sorry. Okay, sometimes it takes a second. So this is an incredibly simple little thing, but it tells you something I think is very, very important. This basically tells you, where are we? And we're actually moving eastward towards New York, right? Start with you guys. The session map tells you what time is it. I guess this is, what is it, 1:42 a.m. What? It's 3 hours back. I don't know. I guess it's the market watch time. I'm trying to figure out what time this is. Where is it? 1:42 a.m. Is it? Oh, it's West Coast. It's on the West Coast. This is West Coast time. I don't know why this is U.S. West Coast time, but it doesn't matter. The point being is, what it tells you is where are we now? Like, what session is active? And this is obviously coming up into the London session, right? Matter of fact, we had UK data. I didn't even check the UK data, but London and New York are sort of considered to be the most active parts of the day. In many ways, this is actually a perfect division here, because if you look at a day, this part of the day is super, super busy, and this part of the day is super quiet, right? Asia is generally much more quiet, and I showed you guys before we even started the webinar at how Euro did nothing, and then all of a sudden Euro just started to ramp up and ran 40 points over the last hour. And that's generally a very, very true assumption, that London and New York are, a rule of thumb, 2 times as much liquidity as in Tokyo and Sydney, and maybe even 3 times as more volatile as Tokyo and Sydney, meaning that for every 10 pips an hour that a currency would move in Tokyo and Sydney, the currency could move as much as 30 pips an hour in London and New York. That's, you know, it's just a rough rule of thumb. It's not a rule. And the reason, sort of, to understand why do things move a lot in London and New York versus Sydney and Tokyo. And you know, fundamentally it's obvious, but I think it's really, really important to understand it, because if you understand why prices move, you'll understand when and how to make trades. What I mean by this is the following. Prices move on volume, right? If let's say I have $100 million that I want to buy Eurodollar, you know, I want to have $100 million I want to buy Eurodollar, right? I could probably, you know, spend $100 million and not move Eurodollar more than a couple of points, right? The way it works is here. Let me see if I can get bigger here, because it's a little hard to see here, but what it says here is, this is a Reuters terminal that I kind of pulled this off of. But what it says here is, I have, you know, X amount of money at 107.43, then X amount of money at 107.43.2, right? Let's just, for argument's sake, I have $50 million bid on this level, $25 million bid on this level, you know, $30 million bid on this level, so on and so forth, right? And so if I have $100 million, all I'm going to do is basically go through 2 levels, right? Only go through 2 levels and maybe move the euro a couple of points, right? Maybe move it from 56 to 58, because I'm going to sweep whatever money is here. It's an auction-based system always. What we in the FX market don't really see, because we don't see volume, because it's an over-the-counter market. But this is exactly how all markets, in every, whether it be equities, futures, FX, they all work. They all work in an auction-based system with the highest bid, biggest amount of volume up and down, right? So let's just change the script and say, hey, I'm going to buy $1 billion worth of euro, right? Well, now, in order for me to buy $1 billion worth of euro, I got to go down 6, 7, 8 layers, right? Because there's only maybe about 500 million, all of it, you know, left on this particular layer. Maybe I got to go 10 down. To do that, suddenly the euro is going to go from 107.56 to probably 107.65, right? And that is exactly how prices move. So I know it sounds kind of simple and stupid, but you really sort of need to appreciate the fact that it's money that moves prices, nothing else, right? The more money you throw at a price, assuming that there isn't the same amount of money offsetting you. In other words, if I have $1 billion to buy, but there's another guy who has $1 billion to sell, the price isn't going to move. But if there's an imbalance of money, right? Imbalance of money, it's going to move prices quite a lot. Sort of as a side note, those of you guys who are in Asia probably very familiar with huge spikes, right? Sometimes, like generally, Asia is very, very quiet. We're sitting around, nothing goes on. But occasionally, like once a month, or maybe sometimes even twice a month, we get like a 50-point move in 1 minute in a pound dollar. Everybody's going, what the hell happened? Like, you know, what is this, right? Why did it happen? Why did we have a 50-point move? Well, there could be news on the wire or something like that, but the reason why it's a 50-point move instead of a 5-point move or a 10-point move is because somebody throws a large amount of money against a very small amount of outstanding offers, right? Since Asia is going to have less money to sell and, let's say, more money to buy, if there's a big discontinued move, that's where the spike happens. And usually it always works its way back right away, right? It comes right back. It's notorious for doing that, right? So when you understand that volume, which is money, moves stuff around, money, we're still very much in the old-fashioned Western-centric world, where London and New York pretty much have most of the money, right? But, and this is the key thing that I think everybody should become aware of. This is something that is so interesting And I'm seeing it much more this year than I ever have before, and I think we may be at the beginning of a true change towards the ebb of dominance of the West and the beginning of dominance of the East. So, as I said, most money is in New York and London, and most money moves during the London New York interchange. That's why you can see that this is like around 30 pips move per hour. This is basically how many pips per hour do we have in New York and London versus just 10 pips an hour in Asia in a session. However, some of you may have noticed this. We are starting to see a lot more action in late Asia. Late Asia is 2 o'clock in the morning to me, or 2 p.m. Tokyo, or what is that in Sydney and Melbourne? So if it's 9:30 in the evening there to you guys. So I guess it would be
late Asia would be around 3-4 p.m.
Right. It would be like 7 o'clock at night to you guys, right? So all of my circles here are New York time, and this is basically showing me 2 a.m. New York time. And what you're seeing, right, is massive moves, essentially on Asia close, right? So we are very familiar, those of you who trade North America hours, that the London fix, when the London market starts to close, you get huge, massive amount of money, because all the money gets concentrated that time of the day, and they all want to make trades, and they all want to settle up for the day. So you have these big moves, usually around 11 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock in the morning New York, which is around 1600 hours London time, right? But what I'm starting to see, and this is what's so interesting and why you guys should be aware of it, is that the 2 o'clock a.m. New York, which is around 7 o'clock in the evening Sydney, Melbourne, and about 3 o'clock in the afternoon Tokyo, we're starting to see huge breaks. Let me just sort of case in point. Case in point is right here. Let's just go look at what time it is on the bottom. 2 o'clock in the morning, New York, right? Nothing. Boom, boom. In 2 hours, we've done like 10 times the amount of movement than we did in the prior 10 hours, right? So I just kind of wanted to, I sort of digressed a lot on this, but I kind of wanted to point that out to you guys as a key component of understanding session-based trading. Okay, now let's get back to Smart Trader tools, because I'm kind of running behind here. I got sidetracked on this note. So the second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is Alarm Manager. Alarm Manager is a nice little piece of software that helps you with 3 very, very, very important things that you should always be aware of. Change in price, change in indicator value, and upcoming economic event, right? It can give you alarms on each one of those particular pieces of information. And if you think about this, this is really the 3 pieces of information on which we depend. Like, these are the inputs that create the outputs, right? Let's take a very, very simple example here. When we talked about dollar yen and the break at 113, this is, let me sort of show, this was a note I wrote to everybody yesterday, calling 113 is key support. This is a daily chart. Now let's go to the 5-minute chart, right? And let's see what happens when we break the 113. Look what happens. We break the 113, and within an hour, we're down 30 points. It's a huge, huge event. The actual physical break of the price level is an input to the market for more direction, right? If you think about what moves prices, these are the 3 things that move prices. Price itself moves prices. Occasionally, indicator values like moving averages or some other things move price, or Fibonacci's move prices, because you reach a resistance point or a support point at those levels, and the economic data set moves prices. So Alarm Manager is very valuable because it allows you to set all those. Let me see if I can kill Session Manager and see if I can put Alarm Manager on here. on here, and allows you to set alarms for all of those values, right? Now, Alarm Manager is not just good for news alarms, right? So you could set news alarms. Not just good for price alarms. You can set various price alarms. If I were to click on here, right? Let's say I want to be alerted when the euro breaks 1850. You can tell that already is an outdated. And let's say the bid on the euro goes 1850, right? And I can set an alarm. And do I want it to play sound? I can do all sorts of things. I can do play sound. I can do an email. I can send a tweet. I can send an SMS. Again, we could. I wonder if this actually will work with my phone. It's interesting. So this is a. I'm going to try and do this, and hopefully, we'll see. I'll give you my phone number: 011-212-873-4669. Let's see if we can add this. And if while we're doing this, you must enter the credentials which are required by SMS message. Oh, I don't know. Who's my provider? Okay, I don't have the API key. I guess you're gonna have to get that from the API key. But we can make our life a lot easier. Just say send me an email, right? And we can send it to btrader@gmail.com. Okay, you can save. Save. And so here's if euro goes 1850 bid, it'll send me an email, and I'll get it. This is a very, very feature-rich little thing, and it's incredibly valuable. Not just because it can set alarms, it can set economic data sets. So, like for example, here's retail sales, United States of America. Do I want to set myself an alarm? Yes. Use news priority is high only. I want 10 minutes ahead of time. I definitely want to be reminded this is a big thing. And let's say I want a sound. Alarm actions add sound, play sound. Let's see if I can test it. I wonder if this is going to give me a sound. Maybe. Let's see. Curious. I'm on VPS, so it may not give me a sound. All right, let's not tempt fate here, but let's just trust the fact that it will give you a bell or an alarm sound or whatever you want, and you can add that, and you have the Alarm Manager all set up. The point being here is that you have just a myriad of very valuable little alarms, and you can remind yourself. I am the type of person. I don't know if you are the same way, but I'm the type of person. If it's not in front of my face, if it's literally not popping up on my smart screen, I forget about it. And occasionally it's really, really important, especially with news, especially with prices, to be reminded of this stuff. My preference, if I were to use this properly, would be to, I think, probably use the SMS function, because I'm probably most responsive to texts. But you could use email, you could use tweets, you could do all sorts of things, whatever you find best. The bottom line is, very, very useful little tool. Play around with it. Set your own alarms. Work it out, and give yourself a very, very rich functionality. It's kind of like having your own robot reminding you of the important things in the FX market that you need to be watching as you're trading. Okay, so that's Alarm Manager. Really, really useful little tool. Now, here comes my favorite little tool, simply because it's just so simple, but it will make your life incredibly easy. It's something called the Mini Terminal. And the Mini Terminal basically allows you to control three things that matter the most, right? If you think about it, what are the three things when you're trading that matter the most? People will always say profit, but that's nonsense. Profit is not something you can control, right? Profit is not even remotely something you can control. There's only three things that you can control when you're doing a trade. And literally, in my opinion, this is the order of value that you can control them in. Size is the single most important thing. I did a column the other day about the advantage of trading tiny, right? And the advantage of trading tiny is the value of not feeling pressure, not feeling risk. And by trading tiny, I sort of showed everybody an experiment where I traded 0.1, 0.1, the single smallest possible size, dime pips on a consistent basis, and showed how you could make $20 a day trading dime pips, and that adds up to $5,000 a year. I was doing this on a $25,000 account, like a large account, and it was amazing at how much better my trading was because I was completely stress-free and almost risk-free because my risk was so reduced. So mini terminal, its first and foremost value is it can control your size, which by definition then controls your risk, right? They're intricately involved. The smaller the size, the smaller the risk, the better the trade. And third of all is it can control price because you can come in at an exact price or a market price, but you can come in quickly. So let me show you how that works and all the various permutations that you can do with mini terminal, right? Again, I'm going to lay this down on here. Okay, so mini terminal, as you can see, and we're gonna trade a little bit of this. So it defaulted over here to 0.1 lots, and I recommend you keep it this way. I have a stop loss at 20, take profit at 10, and this has to do with a strategy I'll show you guys a little bit later that I like to use. That's really cool. And for those of you guys who are hanging out with me, the BK guys who are hanging out with me in the room today, I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. With this particular strategy that nobody's else seen. I'm just experimenting with it myself. So I'll keep that to the end of the webinar to hopefully have you guys hang out with me. So very simple. Let's say this is just simply market bid ask, right? I want to just buy a buy market, right? I bought market done, right? Now what's cool about this? I controlled my size, I controlled my stop, I controlled my take profit. Automatically, right? Everything is all done. Blah 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 blah. It's all done. Super easy. I haven't had to do a single thing to control those things just by simply clicking it because everything was preset, right? But we can go. Let's go to dollar yen here. Dollar yen came back up a little bit. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's play around. Let's put a mini terminal on dollar yen, and let's play around with this particular situation and show you all the potentials that we can do here. So if you click this little clover leaf over here, right, it gives you the option, various options to buy, sell, buy, stop. Let me just sort of show you all the drop down options. Buy limit, buy, sell limit, buy, stop, sell, stop. So let's just say we're gonna bargain hunt dollar yen. I'm gonna buy limit. I'm gonna buy 112.75. Right? Oops, sorry. Okay. With a stop loss of pips, of 10 pips, no, 20 pips, sorry. And take profit of pips. And you can do take profit of anything. I'm just sort of giving you the simplest ideas, and we're not going to do trailing stop. We don't have to worry about that, right? And this is our, this is our buy stop. You could actually say this is a template, but it will just simply place the order, right? Here's the order. I'm bidding up. I'm bidding for 12.75 on the on dollar yen, right? But we can do a couple of things that are even better than that. We can get even fancier. Let's go to, I don't know. Let's go to the pound chart. Okay, here's a pound chart, and let's go to mini terminal, and let me show you one other thing here that I absolutely love. Okay, so here's the mini terminal. It pops up over here. First of all, by the way, a couple of very cool things that you can do here that is very nice if you have a multi-screen. Now, I'm obviously in a VPS, so I only have one screen, but I actually have two other screens above this laptop that I'm working on. And if it was working on my own computer, I could literally undock the terminal. I could undock this thing. Oops, now I moved around. And imagine, imagine you have this little window, right? Just sitting on a third screen. It makes it a lot easier because it basically allows you to always have that window be up, always have that window trading. And I can go back in here and redock the terminal. I can do the same thing with a chart. I'll show this to you. I'll show this to you a little bit later in a more sophisticated version. But the bottom line is, the last piece of information that is really interesting in trading the mini terminal is something called the OCO breakout or the OCO reversion, right? So I actually love trading what's called OCO breakout. Let's just, those of you who have been with me for a while know that I love buying strength and selling weakness around the OO numbers, right? So let's just, for argument's sake, we're going to create an OCO breakout with cable at 132, and 131. So what does this say? This says if price goes to 132, buy it, because we're gonna believe that there's a breakout here. That the price, that whatever bad news that we have absorbed. I guess the labor data was kind of bad today. It's completely, the market has completely changed its mind. It's reversed, and it's gonna burst and blow through those 0 numbers. Or this piece of bad news is really going to weigh on cable, and now they're going to really pressure it to the downside, and they're going to try to break down the 131s. Either way, we want to participate in the trade, right? And let's say we put a stop loss of pips of, again, 20, and we're going to put a take profit of 10, okay? No trailing stop. Put this down here. We can say place order, right? And let me just move this up a little bit so you guys can see it. And so what has this done? This basically created this OCO order. So if 31 gets triggered, the 132 is going to instantaneously disappear. We don't have to worry about it. It's going to instantaneously go away. We don't have to manage that pending order. Conversely, if 132 gets triggered, the 131 is going to instantaneously disappear. We don't have to worry about it, right? It's gone. The orders have a stop and a take profit attached to them automatically. Basically, you can just set this, walk away, go do your thing, and then if the price hits, it's either gonna make your trade or not make your trade. But the thing is, you don't have to manage anything else outside of this. This could take minutes, hours, or multiple hours before the trade happens. But you're always ready because you have already everything pre-set up like this, right? And you can, of course, do the opposite. You can say, you know what, Boris, you're an idiot. You never buy breakouts. You always, buy weakness and sell strength, because we all know that the currency market is notorious for running stops, right? So I could say, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't do a breakout. What if I want to buy? If pound comes down to 131, that's going to be a bargain level, and if it runs to 132, that's going to be pretty much the top of that move. So what if I want to do the opposite of it? So instead, I can do OCO reversion, and now what it's going to do is lay out a limit order. So I'm going to lay out a limit order to 132, price order to 131, right? And put a stop loss on pips here at 20. Take profit on pips here at 10. And place order, right? Oops. Unable to place pending order. The stop loss take profit is too close to the current open price. Really? Or did I screw up the price? Let's see what I just did. Sorry. Let's see what I just did. I want to buy 131, 1.32. Should be far away, so let's just see. I always actually love making mistakes, because then it tells me, It makes you understand the logic of this thing. So it should be okay. Let's see. 131, sell limit 132, place order. Okay, yeah. Okay, I must have mistyped something. So it's perfectly fine. And this basically, if pound rises, I'm gonna fade that move. Fading means you go against the flow. So this is a counterflow trade. The prior trade was a pro flow trade. Either way, this it's incredibly easy. Like this is very, very tedious. You actually we have very complex EAs that we write to enable these functions. This thing is just available for you, as simple as that. And you can save it. You can save it as a template, right? You can literally save it as a template and then it just apply the template every time you trade it, right? So very cool. I think you guys would like that a lot, right?
Sorry, Boris, there is just one quick question, whether you can have multiple EAs, whether you can have multiple EAs running at the same time.
You mean multiple versions of the trading terminal? Yes.
Yeah, so let's say trading terminal and session map.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just I think you can. I mean, let's hey, let's try this. Let's just do this. I'm probably going to crash my computer, but let's try it. So here I have Aussie dollar, right? And let's say let's just do alarm manager. I want to lay down alarm manager, right? Can we do this multiple? I think as long as you can lay down on a fresh chart, yeah. As long as you have a fresh chart, you can lay down the EA, okay? And I'm going to kill this over here. I'm actually going to kill all the all of the EAs because I want to save my memory. So yeah, you can definitely do multiple EAs, not a problem. But as always, remember, you're stressing the computer system. So I always recommend keep yourself focused, do one or two things at a time, and don't get too greedy. So this is as I showed you, perfect tool for breakouts. Breakdowns, you can buy the OCOs or you can sell the OCOs. Either way, it's an excellent tool for that kind of a simple but very effective trading system, right? If you had done dollar yen, right, sell the 113s, buy the 114s with 1020 would have been a very, very easy trade. I think if we look at this, I think it took. So it broke over here at 220, and by 3:05, about 25 minutes, the whole trade was done, right? The whole trade was done. Easy, sneezy peasy. It was really, really good. Okay, so now we get into what I call big boy land. Sorry, let me go to my charts here. Now we get into the two pieces of software that are much, much more complicated, much more powerful, and really, quite useful for what you want to do. So let me start with Trade Terminal first. Trade Terminal is what I call the world at your fingertips, and effectively, I consider it to be like the remote control for your MT4. It's the ability for you to trade almost anything you want in 100 different ways right off the terminal. It allows you to filter positions by open, pending, closed. It allows you to close positions by winners, losing, pending, or all. It gives you like incredible amount of granularity, incredible amount of ability to customize what it is that you want to do. And you can even manage to exit positions by percent of exit, break even, templates, all sorts of things that you can do. And you can create rules within it that are far more sophisticated than just simply buy, sell. And then finally, you can also create and manage, one cancel other orders, all of it through this particular terminal. So let's just go through this a little bit in detail to see how well it works. Okay, so I'm going to lay down trade. You know what? Hold on. I think I want to put down on the euro or pound. Okay, let's kill this. Let's do trade terminal on the pound. Okay, so here's Trade Terminal, and I'm just clicking all of these arrows to give you a full feel of how it looks. And let me just sort of just bear with me. I gotta pull this down a little bit. Here it is. Okay. So Trade Terminal has kind of three panels. The panel for all of the currencies that you have, and over here, you can trade all sorts of currencies that you want, and that's obviously very customizable. But like these are the major currencies. The panel here for your account, right? And I'm using sort of a very small screen space, so I don't have a lot. Just want to minimize my screen here for you guys, so bear with me. Give myself a little more room here. Okay, and you can see the trading terminal, which contains my balance and floating, and then it has these very, very important little bells, alarm bells, and I'll show you what they're good for as far as trading. And then it has your order and pending order blotter, and here you have tremendous amount of functionality that you can do, right, with the orders. I'm actually going to just create a couple of more orders just so we can pepper the trade terminal with stuff. Let's just buy cable, and it's going to tell you to confirm to buy. Let's buy Aussie, just for argument's sake. And it always gives you a confirm window. You see how easy it is for me to buy? Just so that I can just populate a couple of orders, so we can then just show you and discuss various things. Now, ironically enough, I kind of want to start with the thing that's people look at last, but it's probably the single thing that's most useful. You can undock this thing, right? Here, watch what's so cool about this. If I go into settings and I go undock, right? Let's see if I can do this. So now this whole window, and again, I'm using my my own computer here, so I think let me see if I can. I'm just trying to expand it here a little bit. Okay, you see how much bigger it is now? So I can actually let this thing float on my computer, right? And again, just give me a second because it's kind of stressing out, because I'm on VPS, it's stressing out my my capabilities here. But it's it's working fine. So now you can see the whole thing just kind of floating around, doing its own thing, right? Very, very cool. You don't have to be an MT4 in order to manage all of your positions and to see everything that's going on over here and have all sorts of functionality available to you. Again, super useful if you have multiple screens, right? If you have multiple screens, you can just drag this to another screen, and you essentially have your whole remote control at a complete different screen. Now, I want to start again with the things that seem to be the least interesting, but in many ways I think the most important. See these little barbells over here, right? So these are alarms. And this is telling you in real time how much money I'm winning or losing. Obviously, it's a demo account, and I'm trading tiny little amounts, and I'm just losing 14 pips on this particular thing. But why is this so important? Why is it so important? Because if I click on this little bell, right, it can tell me, it can warn me if I'm starting to lose a lot of money, right? So if my floating alarm on the item, a floating P&L, right? If my floating P&L is less than, let's say I want to, let's for argument's sake, say I only want to lose $10 today, right? Is less than or equal to minus 10, okay? Then send me an alarm, send me an email, or give me an order. Or more importantly, how about if it's $10, I just want to close all my orders, right? I'm going to just close all my orders. So if I don't want to lose $10 on my position for the whole day, I could just simply hit save. And now I have a risk control factor on my whole position. So it doesn't matter what happens in my account, right? Why is this so valuable? It's incredibly valuable because the single biggest way people lose their money is a rogue trade, a trade that goes completely unexpectedly out. Sometimes the rogue trade is not even your fault. Like, let's say you put on a trade, you thought you put a stop loss onto it, and maybe the EA didn't put a stop loss, and maybe the MT4 didn't quite put the stop loss, and the trade just kind of floats out. And you're like walking around, having cappuccino, talking to your friends, going out with your wife or your girlfriend, and completely unaware that the trade is unprotected, right? Because whatever error you have. And suddenly your account now goes like, minus 25% of margin, minus 25% of equity, whatever it is, right? Once you've set up this little floating alarm, this is like a second level of protection. It always makes sure that basically what this says is, I don't care what stops there are, I don't care what positions there are, something in the account has gone below the value that I'm comfortable with, just close me out. Close me out, I'll come back, and I'll start my positions again, but at least I'll have my money. Super valuable, completely, I think, overlooked, very, very easy to do. You see how easy it is to just simply set the floating P&L on everything, and this will stay there. It's something I recommend you guys do before you do anything else. I was listening to Chat with Traders podcast. If you guys ever listen to Chat with Traders podcast, it's a great podcast. And within the Chat Traders podcast, he was talking to Aaron Brown, who is probably one of the greatest risk managers in the world. He used to work for AQR, which is a $200 billion quantitative fund. And one of the things he says is that whenever a trader comes to me with an idea, the first thing I ask him is, well, what happens if your thesis is wrong, right? And if they don't have a good answer for what happens when your thesis is wrong, I know they're really not a good trader. So the first thing you do before you do any kind of trading is say, well, what happens if something is wrong in my whole portfolio position? If you start thinking like a trader, this allows you to do that by setting the alarm down, right? So simple function, but very, very useful. I started with the risk control first. But obviously, what's the beauty of this whole thing is all of the various management capabilities, all the various management functions that we have inside the order. So here we can go all orders. We can see. Did I do any pending orders? I haven't done any pending orders. Oh no, I do have a pending order. Yeah, let's go. Let's just see. I do have a pending order here, right? So let's just see, what are my pending orders? I can go see all my orders by pending orders, right? Now I can see all my orders by open orders, right? I can see all my orders by all orders. Very, very cool, right? Super cool, gives you a huge amount of flexibility, right? I can close, this is where it gets really, really interesting. I can close all of my positions. I can close open positions. I can close all winners. Let me just close all winners, right? No, you know what? Let me close all losers. I want to get rid of all losers. Boom, boom. Do you see that? I just closed up all my losers super fast. Super fast. Now I want to close my winners. Boom. Now I'm done with the winners, right? Super fast. Let's start again. Let me just lay down a couple of positions here. Let's sell some pound yen. I don't know why, but should I sell some pound yen? No. Let's buy some pound yen, because I'm going to bet on the fact that we turn around a little bit on pound yen. All right, let's buy some pound yen. Okay, I'm just laying down a couple of orders. Now I have a whole bunch of tools in here that allows me to do partial exits. This is so cool. Actually, I'm sorry. I need to, in order for me to do this properly, I'm going to buy large size of pound yen. I'm going to buy a full lot in order to show you the power of partial entry. So I bought a full lot of pound yen. Okay. So I'm like, oh, ha ha ha. I'm so smart. Look at this. You see what happened? Remember I said set a control for like $20. I don't want to lose more than $20. I over leveraged myself because I was trying to do some some stuff, and it actually blew myself out, right? I created my own risk control factor. Okay, let's. That's really funny. That's perfect. What a great segue. So let's just give myself a little more. Let's just do 1,000. I'm just, I'm not, 500. Okay, I don't want to get too crazy. But that was kind of funny. I totally forgot that I set the control for what I want to do. Okay, so I have a $500 risk limit. Generally, by the way, again, this is not advice, but it's just simply good trading practice. The rule of thumb that everybody likes to use is if you're day trading, right? If you're day trading, you want to never lose more than 3% of your total equity. So let's say this is a $10,000 account. You really, in any given day, you never want to lose more than $300 on your account. So I would set myself at $300 as my max risk. And obviously, when you set that kind of a parameter, you're going to trade much smaller. But I'm just going to show you. I just want to show you partial exits as a key component of this whole thing. So I'm long pound yen, right? And I can go into tools, all orders, and I want to do partial close, right? And the thing that's very cool about here is I can actually close 10%, right? I can close just 10%. And look, now I only have 90. I can whittle down my exits. Now, obviously, I'll tell you where this is much more valuable. This is much more valuable when you're winning. I mean, it's good when you're losing too. You reduce your value. But where is it valuable? It's really valuable when you're winning because, and this is something that Kathy and I kind of swear by, and this is completely mathematically inefficient. I'll be the first one to admit that everybody will tell you this is the wrong way of trading because you're minimizing your potential for profit. But what is mathematically possible is psychologically impossible. And what I'm talking about is the following. When you're winning, and let's say I think this is going to be a huge move. I think yen turns around, US data is going to be great. I think pound yen is going to be up 200 points from this level, right? There's almost zero chance that I'll be able to realize 200-point move in pound yen because I'm always going to want to take profits early, right? So the only possible way you can release the pressure, release the psychological valve, is by scaling out, by saying, okay, if pound yen goes 20 points in the money, I'll take 10% off. And then if it goes another 20 points in the money, I maybe take another 10% off. And by doing that, I release that pressure of losing out money, right? I bank some money. So I feel okay, and this gives me the psychological power to stay in the trade, right? Now, I'm the first one to admit, and everybody knows that is not the efficient way. The efficient way is to hold the position from entry to exit fully. But especially when the position is large, it's almost impossible. Because the only thing you're thinking about when the position is large is how do I preserve my profit, or how do I make sure I don't lose my, I don't hit huge losses, right? There is nothing worse than being up $900 looking for $1,000 profit, and then having that trade turn around and become a $2,000 loss, right? Because it's not a $2,000 loss. It's effectively a $3,000 loss, and it's incredibly painful. And no matter, even though you can tell yourself intellectually, the next trade you'll make money, and the next trade after that, and overall you'll still be winning, that's the future, and we're not very good as human beings with the future. We're only very good with the present. So scaling out, using this particular function to close out, going into the tool set, close out, partial exits, right? Sorry, let me just, partial closes, right? Makes it very easy. And then, of course, you can set trailing stops, break-even stops, automatic close. You can do a million different things. Again, I ask you to fool around with this on a demo account as much as possible. Create your own structures that you're comfortable with. This is just simply to show you all the functionality that's available here. And then, the last thing that this thing is allow you to do is to create an OCA group, right? Now, remember, I actually think this is a little bit more convoluted way of creating an OCA group. That is, OCA means one cancels the other. It's exactly what I showed you in the OCA breakout and OCA limit orders that we saw in the mini terminal. If you're going to do that, I think it's better to do it in the mini terminal. But suppose you're only using the trading terminal as your primary interface. Let's say I want to, I'm going to create new orders in dollar yen. I want to buy limit at 1250. I'm not even going to bother putting stops and limits just because we're kind of running short on time, right? I'm going to place order here at buy limit, and I'm going to place another order at sell limit at 1300. So I'm buying 1250, I'm selling 1300, place order, right? And now if I want to do an OCA group, right? If I want to do this OCA, right? Create or manage OCA group. So create an OCA group, right? So these two orders, right? I can click this, call this Boris trades, and create OCA group. And I'm done. And now this thing will trade together. So if the buy triggers, the sell will disappear. If the sell triggers, the buy will disappear, right? So very cool. Lastly, all I got to do is hit the X, and I'm out. I'm out of all positions, right? Nice and easy. Come on, close it out. See, nice and easy. So that's trading terminal. Hope you guys, by the way, we're going a little bit over time, but this is the last piece of it, and it's really the most interesting one, the back testing part of it. So I hope you guys are okay. Sam, is everybody okay with hanging out for another 10, 15 minutes with me? So to show you the last component of Smart Tools?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, all right. So let's kill the trading terminal. Any final questions, any specific questions on trading terminal? Let me know. Are you guys good?
There was just one question, Boris, if I can interrupt.
Yeah.
There was a question from Martin, and what he was basically asking is, if you have a position, let's say one lot, whether you can exit 50% of the one lot and then close 75% of the residual amount and then let the rest trading with the trailing stop. So it's a bit more complex, but can you do that?
Yeah, so yes. So you do 50%, it'll kill 50%, right? Then the next time you go 75%, it will do 75% of whatever is there, right? So if it's divisible, it'll go to the next order, right? I mean, let's just do this. Let's just buy one full lot of dollar yen. Okay, and then let's so just sort of let's say I want to get rid of we said 50%, right? 50% of that. Right now I have only 50, right? And let's say I want to get rid of 10% of the next one. I'm just trying to do it in even numbers. I want to get rid of 10% of this, right? Right? And now it's 45. You see that? So you can do it whatever you want, no problem, right? And I'm going to close this out. Oh, look at this! I made money. I knew the yen was going to turn. I knew the yen was going to turn. I just don't have time to trade my ways. Okay, so let's kill trade terminal. Close this out. So I don't have the stress of this. Okay, all right. So the thing that I want to show you next is how to trade simulate. How can I trade how do I simulate real market conditions and test strategies for myself, and basically, see what strategies work. I'm going to share with you one strategy that I find to be incredibly valuable. And this is Trade Simulator. Trade Simulator gives you instant results. You can test historical data on the live server, see how well your favorite indicators and templates perform, and then test various multiple order management techniques. It's literally, you can spend weekends doing this, and I suggest you do that. I really suggest that what you guys do on the weekend is do this. What I'm going to show you is just how to set it up so you know how to use it, and then just bang away at it and do all sorts of things. But where's my... Oh, sorry. So what I wanted to show you is this very, very simple RSI scalping system that I like to use, that you can use in Trade Simulator. So we're gonna try and use this particular scalping system. We're gonna use 1-minute charts, and the idea is if RSI goes above 70, we're in a buy mode. We have a buy bias, right? Then what we're looking for is a little bit of a retrace. RSI dips below 60, and then, and this is the critical component of the system, we only buy if the uptrend reestablishes itself, and the uptrend is reestablishing itself by the RSI going back up above 60. What this does is it avoids us buying false retraces. It avoids us the V-shaped shape where we go up and then we go straight down and we buy the retrace and we get stopped out. And similarly on the short side, 30 is going to be the sell bias. It's going to go back up to 40, and only when it drops below 40 are we then going to sell and make the trade to the downside. Traded with 2010. Look for 70% or better profitability. Okay, so that's the simple RSI system. Let's go to the videotape and let's just see how that could have traded in the Eurodollar. So first order of business when we do this is, and I've already pre-set up the 1-minute chart with an RSI on it just to make our life easier, give ourselves save ourselves some time. So the first order of business that we're going to have to do is we're going to go into View, and we're going to do Strategy Tester. We want to, go into Strategy Tester. So View Strategy Tester, right? Then we're going to choose the Expert Advisor, and we're going to choose the Expert Advisor called Trading Simulator, Pepperstone Trading Simulator, right? Oops. Okay, here we go. And you can choose the particular currency pair. We're going to choose the Eurodollar. I think actually I can bring this down a little bit so it's more visible for us. And I'm just going to choose the last 24 hours. So it's going to download the data, just a small amount of data. But you can choose data anywhere, as far back as you want, and it's going to download real-time data from the past into your trading simulator. Make sure that you also have visual mode clicked off over here. So today is the 15th. We're going to go from 14 to 15. Start date 14 to the 15, right? And we're going to say start. Okay. So what it did is it created a brand new chart, right? My visual chart. This is kind of like my fake chart that has all the prior data on it, right? I'm going to lay down my default template because I want the I want the RSI on it. I want a nice clean look, and I'm going to start playing it. All I got to do in order to play it is to play like this, right? And so what happens here? I have the window. The window is preset with 0.1 lots with a stop of 20, take profit of 10, which is my former thing, and it kind of moves around. And just bear with me. I'm sorry, a second. I'm going to pause this. Just bear with me for a second, guys, because what else I want to do here is I want to go into View Data Window. The reason why I want to view Data Window is because I'm going to manually kind of walk you through the setup. So let's just go through here. So we're over here, right? What we're looking for is we're looking for the RSI to go up or down, into the buy or the sell mode. I think this is from yesterday, so it's going to take a little while for this thing to start to pop up. But it looks like it's starting to pop up. I'm just waiting for it, to give me a signal. Now, it's moving at a relatively fast speed, but we can speed this up a little bit by going like this. Maybe even one more. And let's see if this will speed up the process. This is doing 1 minute bar charts, right? And it's doing it around, like, I think 5 or 10 times as fast as normal. So it kind of makes it very, very slow. But trust me, it's worthwhile to just hang out with me, just to get a good feel for how the price action works. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this super fast down to 31, and it's going to start to print those bars a little faster. And we're going to go, and then once we get to our initial trigger point, I'm going to pause, and then we'll resume the price action. So what's going on over here? Anything? Nothing? Oh, I think this is like, midnight hours. That's why it's taking so long to create any kind of price action. All right, I think this is gonna send a false signal, so it's fine. I think it's gonna be a losing trade, but I'm less interested in winning or losing, and more interested in just simply showing you how to trade this in a simulated mode. So I pause this over here because what happens here? We see that the RSI at this particular frame dropped below 30. So now it sent us a sell signal, right? A sell signal in this particular time frame, right? So I'm going to run this. Now I'm going to keep on going. And what I'm looking for now is for it to come back up, right? Stop. Come back up. And now the RSI is well above 40. So now retrace 40. Now here's where it gets interesting. What we want is for the RSI to drop below 40, right? If it doesn't drop below 40, then we're not going to take a trade. So let's just run this a little bit more and see what happens next. Okay, so look. So watch. This is very cool. So what happened here? I avoided an unnecessary short. This is the reason why I kind of really wanted to show you the strategy in real time. It didn't trigger my sell, right? It actually now went into buy mode. It went bid. It actually, I think we're almost at 70. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's call it 70, right? So now I'm in a buy mode. Now I'm looking for it to retrace, right? So let's keep going up here. So now it's definitely, painting more of a buy mode. And now I'm looking for, okay, pause. Did it dip? Yeah, it dipped well below 60, right? And now what we're looking for is for it to come back up above 60. Will it come back up above 60? Okay, pause. Wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry, I need the candle to close. Okay, pause. So, yes, it's above 60, right? So you saw the dynamic? This is what makes this so cool, is this is real price action. It puts you right into the driver's seat. It's like a virtual driving machine of exactly how you would trade the market. So now I have a buy signal. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trade the simulation. I'm going to buy this. Where's my buy? Why didn't this buy? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Oh, I bought 3. Ugh. Okay, I bought 3. Doesn't matter. I bought. It just took a little while for it to see. You can see I bought 3. I kept banging away on it. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I bought 3 into strength, right? So now we're like 68. We're in at 68, looking to come out at 78, right? And we have a stop at 48 on our position. And look what happens. Look what happens. Boom, boom, boom. We're moving. We're moving in our direction. We're moving with the flow, right? The signal gave us a pretty decent indication that there may be more, more upside to go. So, I have this buy signal. I'm just hanging out now. And it tells you, by the way, like, in real time, how much in the money are you? 5 pips, 4 pips, whatever. I think this actually is going to torture us for a little bit. It's probably going to go up and down a little bit. I remember this trade cycle kind of going up and down. It may not necessarily resolve. And what's really, really great about Trading Simulator, right, is that all of the emotional up and down, all of the frustration, all the tedium, still there. So you get to practice and say, well, how am I feeling now that I've been in the trade for 10 minutes and it still hasn't resolved? Should I just simply close it out? Should I do this? Should I do that? Right? And it trains you psychologically as much as it trains you financially to do things correctly, right? If we trust the setup, if we think the setup is good, and we should trust it to take profit or stop, then this is a good test of how well we trust the setup by letting the setup play itself out. And it may take sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes it may take 100 minutes, right? The point being is we got to trust the setup once the setup is working. So, it's moving. And, in real life, I would keep myself at this pace. I would force myself to watch this. And this is great, by the way. It's great to do this on the weekend, when you don't have any stress time on yourself, but you get to experience virtually the actual mental mechanics of being inside a trade. There's as much value in the mental process as there is in the actual physical process of making sure that your strategy is good. So now it's going against us, coming back up, going against us. While we're watching this, is there any questions, Sam? Because I want to make sure that I got any of the final questions in tow.
Yeah, no, you're all good, Boris. There are just a few technical questions, but we covered those. So, guys, if you have any questions, just put them through.
Yeah. So, because while I watch, and I'm going to make you guys watch this price action to the end because I really want you to understand how important it is that just because a trade is not resolving instantaneously does not mean it's not a good trade. If you believe that this was a good setup, then you got to let it play itself out to its full fruition. So I'm just waiting to see, and you see that one of the great things about watching this is I think we always have utterly unrealistic expectations that the moment we make a trade, it goes our way. It should go our way instantaneously, right? Of course we're right. Why isn't the market, right with us right away, right? Now the market is actually going to test us. See, the market is saying, I had you in the money. Now you're out of the money. How much confidence do you have? It's trying to bluff you out. If you're playing poker, it's really trying to bluff you out of your trade early. How many of you in real life, having been in this trade for 20, 30 minutes, it not worked, you're like, oh, screw it. I'm out of this trade. I'm out of this trade right over here. Absolutely at the lowest point, right? Giving it all up while the trade then completely turns around and goes its own way. In other words, getting out way before your stop is needed. One of the other great things with Aaron Brown, that Aaron Brown interview that I recommend everybody listen to and chat with traders, he talks about the idea of how utterly stupid it is to if you have a good strategy that you've tested, that you believe is a sound, statistically legitimate strategy, that it makes virtually 0 sense to get out early on your stop. All you're doing is just giving up opportunity. People think you're giving up risk, but the opposite is you're just giving up opportunity. You just gave up opportunity. If you believe this was an opportunity, the reason why you initially went into a trade, coming out of a stop early, really, really stupid, right? Only if you think that there's no opportunity at all do you get out of it. All right, so you see how it just keeps on going, and it's just keeps you engaged.
Sorry, Boris. Maybe just one question. One quick one. Where do you actually find those tools? If you can just show us the way how you can find the navigator window.
Sorry, what do you mean by navigator window?
So how to bring up navigator window and where to find those tools?
Oh, Smart Trader 2, the actual Smart
Yeah.
Trader tools? Smart Trader tools? Is that what you're asking me?
That's right.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Guys, honestly, I just literally go. Every time I do this, I just go Pepperstone, Smart Trader Tools, right? And Google is smart enough to know. I'm just going to type this out so you guys can see it, right? And Smart Trader Tools for Pepperstone. You just click on here, right? Now, um, if you want to download them, right? If you're a customer, you download them. You can download them from your customer login. But if you have any problems, like I do, I'm the type of person that really needs, like, I'm the worst kind of customer support person because I always want to. I never want to do it myself. I always want somebody to do it for me. All I do is I go on chat. I literally go on live support and say, "Hey guys, give me the link," and they'll give you the link. And you click that link, and it automatically, instantaneously downloads all the tools into your system. Okay, so you can go into your client web login and download them there, if you're smart enough to figure that out, or you can just bother live support and say, "Hey guys, I need the Smart Trader tools," and they'll just give you the link, and you click that link. Okay.
Thank you.
Where am I? Over here. So I'm still floating. Okay. So now it's been a long time. I think I've tortured you guys enough. Let's see if we can expedite. Well, let's see. Let me just see if it's finally starting to move my direction. So finally we're starting to move my direction, right? I'm just trying to see. I think I was 68. I need about 78. I need 78 or something a little bit higher to get myself done, right? We're finally starting to move up, 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 up. Okay, I'm going to pause this. So I'm going to cheat a little bit because I've kept you guys here long enough. I think I've proven my point about how important it is to stay in the trade until it resolves itself. And now I'm going to go to the fastest speed possible, and you'll see how fast this goes. I'm just going to go right through it, right? Boom, and you can see that it went through. Went a long time ago. Went through 74, 75. Went right through it. I'm, sorry to do this to you. I didn't quite give you the full real value, but you can see net profit. Boom. The most important thing that I want you to walk away from here is these tools are monstrously powerful. I've only shown you probably 10% of their full value, but what I showed you, what I hope I've done here, is whet your appetite and open your mind to the possibilities that are available to you here to truly improve your trading. This particular little piece of software, the Trading Simulator, is an absolutely great way to test your ideas, both mentally and mechanically. So I showed you one of my favorite ways to scalp. And there obviously, I haven't shown you all the rules to it, but the basic general rules really show you why that's such an intelligent way. It's always intelligent to trade with flow, using the RSI as a filter, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. But you can trade Bollinger Bands, you can trade Fibonacci levels, you can trade all sorts of other ideas. The important part is you can do this in the comfort and ease of your home. You can do this on the weekends. All of this data, remember, all this data is downloaded so it can trade on the weekend when there is no live prices. It's in a virtual mode, it's in a visual mode. The important part is just to remember the very simple steps of how to do it. You go into, you make sure that you you open up Strategy Tester. You make sure that you lay down the indicator, and then you make sure that you download the proper amount of tick data. And obviously, you always want to download every single tick, which is the most precise data that you have. And then you can test whatever you want in a super simple way. You could actually even after you've done like lots of testing, hit this Analyze button, right? And it will automatically take you to an analysis tools. Look, I made three basis points, or three. Is it 3 basis points? 1% is 100. Yeah, I made 3 basis points in my trading today, and it will show you, all of your trades, all of the stuff you've done. If you want to practice your scalping, even if you want to practice something as simple as like, hey, I don't have rules, but I just want to react to price action. I want to see how well I do against price action. If I just want to test my own scalping skills, you can just simply place trades you know, 10, 15, 20 trades in a period of an hour that you would never been able to do in real life, you know, price action, and move it around. One thing I will say is that the price action moves relatively slow here, but I think you would move faster on your own computer. If you this is one of the things where I have no problem that you should run on your own computer. The reason why it's moving a little slow is because of a BPS, and it's processing my price action a little bit slower. If you were using it on your own computer at around 31 speed, you probably would be able to get many more trades going through the chart. But overall, incredibly valuable, really useful tool. Hope you guys not only enjoyed the tool, but enjoyed a little bit of the strategy as well, and saw that even the best strategies take a long time to resolve, that patience is probably the single most important element to all of our success. And this is one of the things that can help you develop patience, right, without really hurting your P&L. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Any final questions, anything else on your mind? I'm happy to take any final questions. I'm sorry I ran over time, but I always run over time. If you guys know me, I always run over time because there's just so much to discuss. So go ahead. Any last questions, guys?
Yeah, thank you, Boris. There was just one question here. Whether there is any risk to use this trading terminal or trade simulator on a live account? So if you can just cover that visual mode again.
Oh yeah, no, there's absolutely no risk because it trades fake money. In other words, you can do this on a live account. It's no problem because the software itself is placing fictitious trades. You can see sort of. Let me just sort of go view. Get rid of strategy tester, right? You see how my money never changes, right? Remember, I made $3. I should have 1080 114, right? But I only have 1080 111 because and this is a demo account, but it doesn't matter. The real money for our purposes, this is treated as real money, right? And this is treated as fake money. So if this was real money, it would never touch this. It knows to make fake trades that don't touch your real account. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I believe so. That should be fine.
Yeah. Sorry, I know it's not the most elegant way of explaining it, but I think it does. It gets to the point that it knows that this is fake money. It doesn't touch the actual real balance ever. So you can do whatever you want. You can do 1,000 trades here, and none of it will impact your real money in this particular mode. But honestly, there's zero reason to do any of this in a live account. My recommendation is please fool around with all of this on a demo account. Really get comfortable. And don't try to do everything. Just do one or two things that you like that are valuable to you. Once you master those on a demo, then do those on the live. Don't try to make an uber complicated trade terminal strategy with 5,000 different things on a real account and then go, oh, what did I just do? I just lost, $200. And also, don't forget, set that alarm for your equity, right? It was very, very funny how I got stopped out, but it was actually really great because it's exactly the point. The point is you always forget how much risk you have floating out there, and the machine never forgets. So trust the robot to put some kind of a bottom floor to the stop out that you have, and you will never be sorry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Next month, the Super Bowl, to use an American term. What's the what's the rugby Super Bowl in Australia? What is that called? I forget what it's called. What is that? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Like when the championship game for rugby, is there a term for that? Anyways, doesn't matter. My point being is we're trading non-farm payrolls next month, guys. So that's going to be the webinar. Kathy and I are both going to be together in the room. It's going to be really awesome, and hopefully you guys will come in and join us next month. Everybody enjoy, and I will see you then. Thanks a lot, Sam. Take care.
Perfect. Thank you, Boris. Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.